What's happening, everyone? Steve here, Cars with Steve, and today I'm going to show you everything you need to know about the steering wheel and instrument cluster in the 2022 Kia Telluride. Going through every little option that you might need to know about, how the different modes work, how to use the different pages, cruise control, and things like that. But let's dive into it, have a little bit of fun, and see what's going on with the Kia Telluride inside of the cluster and that steering wheel. Next up, let's take a peek at the steering wheel of the vehicle. So firstly, I gotta say, I love the new Kia logo just right in the middle of the wheel there. I think it looks really sharp. We've got two separate pads as well. So let's start off with the one on the left. Very first button is our voice command prompt. So we can change songs, we can change radio stations, we can make phone calls using our voice. If we were hooked up through Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, we could push this button as well. We could use our Siri Assistant, which is always a nice touch. The mode button is going to let us change between our active sources. So AM, FM, Sirius XM, things like that. We've got our volume rocker, and then we've also got this rocker, which is going to also let us change between stations. So we can change between presets by doing a simple button press up or down, or we can literally press and hold in order to be able to seek to a different station as well. We can answer or hang up on a phone call by pressing either button there. And as we look along the right-hand side, this first button is actually going to let us figure out what's going on with the individual pages there. So we press that button, and as you can see, we've got a series of different modes that come up. Let's start on the very first one. So we've got our fuel economy there, and actually fuel economy, very straightforward. If we ever want to reset the economy, we're just going to press and hold the OK button in the middle there. So this one that we would use in order to navigate up and down, we literally just press that in order to be able to reset the info. And as you can see, we've got our fuel economy, accumulated info, drive info. We've also got our kilometers an hour, which is great. So we've got our digital speedometer, and we've got our different drive modes. So starting off, we've got our comfort mode, eco, sport, and then smart mode. And then we press the button in the middle, and that's also going to switch us out to our different drive modes. We've got our snow mode, mud, as well as our sand mode as well. So different terrain modes versus our different drive modes, just depending on what's going on with the vehicle as well. Pushing the button along the top there, we do jump into our compass. And if we do have a map currently going on, this is going to let us know what directions we should be taking as well, which is definitely a nice touch. Moving to our next one, this is going to be our lane keeping assistant, and that's the one that's potentially going to keep us in our lane if we're stopped. So definitely something to think about there. But if we take a peek, we can actually press the button along the side in order to be able to turn that system on or off. So we've got our lane keeping assistant. With what that's going to do is if we start to veer over into a lane without signaling, kind of nudge us back into our lane gently. And we've got our attention level. So the attention level, essentially what happens if we start to veer over too many times, that attention level is going to drop each time. Once it gets down to that low, it's going to let us know we should probably take a break. Moving down, we can figure out what's going on with their power distribution. And then we've also got our tire pressure, but we do need to be driving in order to see that. Moving down, we've got a heads-up display. So heads-up display, and we can figure out exactly what's going on. We've got our display height, rotation, brightness, and then our content selection. So our turn-by-turn directions, definitely useful, because if we've got our maps going on the heads-up display, it's going to let us know the turn-by-turn directions that we should be taking. We've got our traffic information, driving assistant, lane safety, blind spot system, and a number of other things that we can all show inside of that heads-up display. So a lot of flexibility there. Moving back, we've got our speed, size, and color. So we've got some flexibility as to what's actually showing up and how it's showing inside of the heads-up display. Looking at our driver assistance, we've got our reaction time, our driving assistance. So same thing, a lot of different options that we can turn on or off. So our lane follow assist. So that is literally the one that is going to fully keep us into our lane as well. So it's essentially going to be self-driving. You do technically need to keep your hands on the wheel, but what's going to happen is as it recognizes the lane markings and it'll literally take over and it'll start steering for us, which is definitely a nice thing. We've got our highway drive assist and then our highway curve slowdown. So if the vehicle recognizes that there's an upcoming big turn, it's going to slow the vehicle down for us as well. And we've got some different warning timers as well. So warning timer, volume, driver attention warning as well. Forward safety is our active assist, which means that it could potentially slam on the brakes for us if it recognizes a potential collision. It's going to give us a warning only, or it's going to be an offsetting. Our lane safety settings, so we've got our lane keeping assist, our lane departure warning, or off. So the lane keeping assist is literally the one that's going to nudge us back into our lane. The warning just gives us an audible chime, or we can turn the safety setting off if we want to. Blind spot system lets us know if anybody's entered the blind spot on either side of the vehicle. We've got a safe exit assist as well as our active assist. So if the vehicle recognizes there's somebody in the blind spot and we go to change lanes, it's going to kind of pull us back into our lane as well. And then it's going to give us a warning, or we can turn that part of the system off. We've got our parking safety, so our rear cross traffic alert. So as we're backing up, if the vehicle senses something behind us, it's going to let us know of a potential collision. And that's going to be the basics of our driver assistant. For our door, we've got our auto lock or unlock, our 2-press unlock, power liftgate. We've got some different speeds as well. And we've got our smart liftgate. So the smart liftgate, that's the one that as we start to walk to the back of the vehicle with the key fob in our pocket, it's automatically going to lift the liftgate up for us. Moving back, we've got our sound, so one-touch turn signals. We've got, which is kind of a neat thing because if we press our turn signal, so firstly, I'm sure you just saw that. Hold on, let's show that one again. Look at this. So we do have a blind spot monitor there, which I love the fact that Kia vehicles have this thing. But looking at some of the basics there, so as you see with our turn signal, we can go 3, 5, 7 flashes or just a single flash there. So it's literally just a one button there, or we can stretch it out to a 3, 5, 7 as well. So it's such a simple thing, but it makes such a huge difference. And then we've also got our headlight delay as well. Our sound, we've got our welcome sound. Convenience settings, we've got seat slide, so easy access for our height as well. Rear occupant alert, so when we go to turn the vehicle off, watch the screen. What that means is that if we turn the car off, it's going to give us a little message on that screen letting us know that we should probably check the back seats, and we can turn that one on or off. We've got our welcome lights on the outside of the vehicle. Wireless charging system, this vehicle does support, which is always a nice thing. Our basic traffic information, we've got our wiper light display. Auto wiper when we're in rear, which is always a nice thing. So our auto rear wiper, what that's going to do is with that setting turned on, if you've got your front wipers going and you put the car into reverse, it's automatically going to turn the rear wipers on for us as well. And then we've got a few other options there. Service intervals, so we can enable it, so the vehicle is going to let us know when we should take our vehicle in for servicing. And then some other ones, so we can reset some things. We can look at our tire pressure units and things like that. So if you have a preference on which one's showing, and then we can also do a reset, so we can reset everything back to our factory default settings instead. And that's going to be the basics of the actual instrument cluster there, but we also do have a few more buttons. So as you saw there, I was kind of moving up and down between screens by moving this one up or down, and then we can just press and hold OK in order to be able to reset. And then this thing also does have the Smart Cruise system. So we can see that turning on there. So Smart Cruise, once we get to the speed that we'd like, we're just going to press down in order to be able to set our speed. We can increase or decrease 1 kilometer or 1 mile per hour at a time. And what the system's going to do is if it recognizes the vehicle in front of us is slowing down, your vehicle will automatically slow down as well. So definitely a great setting. We can cancel it out as we go, or we just press the button to turn it off as well. And then we also can figure out how close or how far we are away from the vehicle that's in front of us. So as we start to drive with that system turned on, this lets us know how close or how far we are away from that vehicle. Looking at our stick on the left-hand side, that's going to let us figure out what's going on with our running lamps. We can turn our fog lamps on or off there as well. I always recommend just keeping it in the auto setting. Looking at the right stick, that's going to let us figure out what's going on with our windshield wipers, so we can turn those ones on or off, and that's going to be the same for the front or for the rear wiper, so very straightforward there. And we've got a few different settings as well. We're going to pull in towards us to get that front windshield wiper fluid going, and we're going to push away for the rear. Well, folks, that was an in-depth look at the steering wheel as well as that cluster screen inside of the 2022 Telluride. What did you think? I think it's kind of cool. I love the way the buttons are laid out. I love the flexibility and how much you can actually do with this vehicle. But if you have any questions, drop down in the comment section below and let me know. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your social networks, and until I see you next time, take care.